Welcome to the R&R Show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the best little sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and on the other side of this phone is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Who day?
All right, William. Well, obviously, the game doesn't get much bigger than today's game with the Bengals. We're coming off the first win of the season, and I think the public asked for the R&R to do that first show, and we got them the first win. So we thought we better, keep the mojo going.
I agree. I mean, fans were clamoring for R&R show.
The
Put one
inbox.
together, and then we got a kind of a shaky win at Carolina against the Red Rifle, but it
Yeah.
was a win. Burrow in the offense. Yeah, Burrow in the offense looked stellar again. Defense was a little shoddy, so we got to clean that up. But you're right. I mean, today against Baltimore at home is going to be a telltale sign of things to come for this team.
Yeah, and everybody's beating on Baltimore's drum, and rightfully so. But yeah, I'll take them down a notch because I just don't think Buffalo is a great team. I just don't. They have Josh Allen and a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
This is coming off a loss with the Raiders, and again, the Raiders. My God, I don't even know how you could lose to the Raiders, but they did. So I don't know where that puts Baltimore. Obviously, Baltimore is they're probably in most people's eyes probably the favorite right now to come out of the AFC. Them and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are obviously quite a bit nicked up as well. So. But again, it doesn't get much better than today's game.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Derrick Henry in the offseason. That seems to be working out pretty well. He looked like just a beast on the field against Buffalo last week, a man amongst boys. Our run defense is not that great. I'll leave it at that. It's been pitiful. Yeah, it's there. It's been pitiful. So today, everybody's worried, Derrick Henry's going to run for another 200 yards. But I think we're getting some guys back. BJ Hill supposed to play. We've got a rookie that we took in the fourth round, another defensive tackle. Chris Jenkins has another week under his belt. Don't know about Trey. We haven't, you and I spoke earlier, and we haven't heard about Trey yet. And that's going to be a key piece. Sam Hubbard on the other side struggled pretty well, but we also do get Miles Murphy back.
Yep.
I know how you feel about him, but he's another body, first round pedigree, hasn't played the first 4 weeks. Let's see what he can do.
I will tell you this: if the whole Sam Hubbard thing, if he looks as bad right out of the gate as he has these first few weeks, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Obviously, getting more guys back. Hopefully he's at the back end of that rotation. We have got to, we talked off camera about the importance of the Bengals starting strong, and I think that is a huge key today.
Yeah. I mean, starting strong Baltimore's going to run it. I mean, if they're down 14, they're still going to run it. But that is going to force Lamar into more passing situations, and you always say that you just don't think Lamar.
Can I stop you right there, William?
Absolutely.
What makes you think they're still going to run it? We saw in the AFC Championship game they abandoned that run. The whole recipe of them getting there, they panic. Right, wrong, and different. I think it showed a lot of times in their second half meltdowns they panic. And if with the Bengals, if they get out to an early lead, that's only going to play more into that Bengals hand because of getting them out of that run game, because they panicked in the AFC Championship game against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but they didn't have King Henry at that point, and they're not coming off King Henry's 200-yard game against Buffalo. So I think they'll keep pounding the rock. They know what the Bengals, unless all these guys coming back changes the dynamics of that defense to stop that run, force them into throwing situations. I think Mark Andrews just isn't that big of a weapon anymore, but Isaiah Likely is he struggled the last couple weeks, fantasy-wise anyway. I really haven't watched a ton of Baltimore. But I think Zay Flowers brings some dynamics to that squad. Cam Taylor-Britt's going to have to step back up after last week's debacle, whatever that was. Got pulled from the game. But I do like the fact that he went up to Louis A after the game, says that won't happen again. I like
Yeah,
that fire.
I think
We need that fire today. Need
I
it.
I think he's been playing hurt. I truly do.
Yeah,
I
I would
he
agree with you.
up, and I think that plays a lot into it. I love Cam Taylor Britt. I think he's a gamer. I think
Yeah.
does he still make mistakes? Sure, but I think he's probably the best athletic guy we got back here in that secondary.
Yeah, I mean, being a cornerback, just a sidebar, being a cornerback in the NFL, it just has to be. I mean, they call pretty much everything. You put your hands on them before that 5 yards. I mean, look at that. What was that? That rookie from Detroit, that Terrion Arnold, first
Yep,
round pick, big time pet. He can't stop getting penalties. He
yeah,
looks like he's more confused than anybody
yep.
out there. It's got to be tough to play that position. So Cam Taylor Britt's a hiccup in his career for the most part. I mean, look what he did against Kansas City and the rest
Yeah.
of his career up to this point. If he's not hurt, he's a stud. So I agree with you. I think he's dinged up a little bit.
And boy, does he make some highlight reel interceptions. I mean,
He
he
does.
has a few different times this week. So
So
uh,
what is your third son, Mr. Joe Burrow, going to do against this defense today?
I'm expecting big things from my third son.
Yeah.
I with kid, I act like he is my third son. I really think Joe knows the importance of the game. Not that he doesn't take any game, seriously, but
Mhm.
I bet those practices were basically sharp, on point.
Mhm.
He knows the importance of this game. It doesn't get any bigger. You bring Baltimore back to your record with a win today. You guys are knotted up with a head to head going to you
Mhm.
to the Bengals. I don't take much. I'm not worried about Pittsburgh, even though they have the better record. They just haven't played the in division opponents. But I think Joe's going to get the ball out early. I think
Mhm.
it's going to be a lot of timing throws,
Yeah.
getting comfortable, and then they're going to bait some of those Baltimore corners. I think Joe is itching for a big stage. I'm surprised that this isn't a 4 o'clock game. I
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
looking at the schedule, I'm like, how isn't this a 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock or a Sunday night. I mean, damn.
I,
That's
it doesn't get much bigger than this. I don't even
uh,
4 o'clock schedule, but I was shocked when I didn't see this as come up as a 4 o'clock game.
I think that, obviously last year Joe's last game was against Baltimore. I mean, he tore his wrist up in that game. So I think you're talking about itching. I mean, he's wanting to come out and prove something to these guys. Um, he said this week he has to play a damn near perfect game for them to win. Now, I had so him saying that, does that kind of put the defense on notice? Like if he's saying he has to play a damn near perfect game, does that basically saying, well, I'm gonna have to put it all on my shoulders because we're struggling?
I I was shocked he said that.
Okay, okay. I was wondering because it caught me kind of off guard, and I was like,
That's a damn. But I don't think the defense should take too much into it because I don't think anybody on that defense is thinking they've lit things up so
true,
far.
true.
Now I just think that Joe's getting the team rallied. I mean, he knows the importance of the game. He wants the defense to buck up. I think Louis A will have a good game plan. I know you had called him Louis F the other day, and
Yeah, Louis F minus.
yeah, Lad. Well, what'd you think about the defense last week? Was it better, worse, or what? What did you feel?
The Red Rifle pretty much did whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
They got to. I mean, at this point, the Bengals defense, they have to rely on turnovers.
yeah.
I mean, defense, that's obviously a big part of the game, but outside of turnovers, have they made any stops over the last couple games? Not many. I mean, they did have one at the goal line last
No,
week.
yep. They did. But to you, they are needing to create a turnover to be able to obviously get the ball back into their offense. There's no three down and three and out any series for those teams, and that's concerning.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's what has lost them. That lost them that Washington game, and who was the game before that? thinking.
God, they all like piled together.
They did. It was just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, it was. But I will say this: I think the game plan for the Bengals defense. Obviously, I think they're going to bring an extra guy down in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Lane integrity is going to be very key with this game.
Oh, lane integrity.
It is.
I like that.
I will tell you that it is, because the one thing the Bengals cannot afford is to get King Henry any steam.
Mm-hmm.
He is marginal when has no lanes, because once he gets that body going, it's hard to get him down, because those DBs want no part of that.
No.
Now, but so basically, when you can bottle it up and have the lane integrity, getting King Henry going east to west instead of north and south, the Bengals are going to win that. So that's going to be huge.
One of my concerns again, outside of 100 other concerns, but Mike Hilton is not playing today, and he was always coming. I remember the game against Tennessee a couple years ago. They would send him around the edge to stop King Henry, and he had a bunch of stops in that game.
Yep.
So, but they're getting other guys. That's just the nature of the NFL. Injuries, guys in, guys out.
We got figured out. Next man up. But I am excited. Hopefully, BJ Hill is by all accounts, I think he is playing today, and I think that will stabilize a little bit. I did like a little bit of what I saw of Chris Jenkins last week.
Yeah.
If he's going to be anything like his dad, I mean, we've got something cooking with him as well.
Yeah. What do we think about the two-headed monster at running back today against that Ravens defense?
Well, I will tell you this, selfishly, for fantasy concern, I wish they would just give it to Zach Moss the whole time. But that being said, I think it's pretty easy to anybody's eye that Chase brings a ton more juice. I mean, he looks like he's shot out of a cannon every time that he touches the ball. The problem is I don't think they trust him in pass protection. Yeah. So, it's always going to be the number one key to any game is keeping Joey upright. And so I think we're pretty much at a 50-50 split right now. What's you?
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, probably the game, how it's going, is going to dictate who gets more opportunities as well. But I think that's what they go in. They know Chase has that, that he's almost broken some long ones this year, and he is due to hit one.
Yep.
So, but he gives them more juice. But like you said, Zach Moss has given up. That play last week at the end of the first half where Burrow hit him, I was like, what the hell are they doing? At the end of the half, down on the goal line, and he got that in. I mean, that was a hell of a play from Zach Moss.
That was big. I mean, we needed it.
We did. So I'm excited. We talked last week about our tight ends, and Joe, I think, likes that.
Hey, he's blossoming right before our eyes. I think he is the next superstar tight end in the NFL. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it all. He's athletic. He can block.
Yeah.
And he's coming off an injury. I mean, we've got to give him a little bit more time to get acclimated to the game plan. And, the more experience he gets with Joe in practice and games, I mean, Joe's going to trust him more. So they'll add more wrinkles for him going forward.
Inline tight end, they're going to stay on the field. I mean, Joe's shown his, that they trust him throwing him the ball. And when you can block as well, you're always going to be on the field. And I really think that they found something with him.
Yeah. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of the Bengals. Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. We've talked about. We said Jamar's going to have a big game. He did. What do we think is going to happen this week?
Well, a little bit to that point. I mean, Jamar had not ungodly. He didn't have that many exceptions, but obviously the one play where he looks like he was surrounded, I think he even posted on social media. How did he score on that play when surrounded? He's just electric with the ball in the hand. I mean, he is basically a running back when he gets that ball in his hand. He's very good at the yak yards. But I will say this: you could tell that Carolina was trying to devise a game plan just to shut down Chase. So Joe went to a lot of his other options, and T. Higgins. This is what we want to see. I mean, And I don't think when you're going to shut down, and game plan against Jamar, which clearly the Carolina Panthers were doing, that's going to leave the one-on-ones with T, and T took full advantage of it. T did. Our new blossoming also star with Yoshi. He can perform. I just think that the Bengals have so many options, and if the line continually gives Joe that protection that they have been, man, we are in for 30 plus every game, for the rest of the season. I just don't think teams can stop them.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of the line, Amarius Mims, our new right tackle,
played well.
He did. Now Baltimore's a whole different ball game. They're going to try to probably confuse him and do some things to get around him. They know he's a rookie starting his second game. But for all intents and purposes, he's looked good. Joe's happy with it. Let's, keep that ball rolling down the hill. I like the fact that they've been mixing it up with long passes, short passes, the run. I mean, it just seems like a complete offense compared to that first game at New England, which it still boggles the mind, whatever that was.
Yeah. It's again, with these slow starts, it kills us. But do you think Geno Stone's going to have any intel for the Bengals on what to look for with the Ravens? Do you think scrapped everything that they did last year because they have King Henry in there?
No, there's going to be still some of the same concepts because I think they have the same offensive coordinator, that guy from Georgia. So but Geno needs to worry about playing well himself.
Yes, he does. I don't know if we're getting our money's worth out of
No.
Yeah, but hey, all will be forgiven with the big win today.
That's true.
Obviously, talking about special teams, another week, very pleased with our punter. I feel like we finally have got the punter that for the next 10 years for the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. They brought Brad Robbins, the guy they drafted last year. They activated him from the injury.
What's that all about? Just so they could cut him?
Yeah, basically, and then they cut him. So yeah, I mean, and that's huge. I mean, when you put yourself at that big of a disadvantage, that starts to add up during a game. In fact, you can pin those guys back deep. That's big.
Money Mac, I know that
you gave him shit last week, and
he became money. So, but needs to do that. I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything that everybody else isn't thinking. He's missing extra points here and there. He's missing some chippy field goals in today's age. 40 yards, any 40-yard field goal should be a gimme at this point.
Yeah, I mean, against Baltimore, they're going to get some stops. And they're probably going to be at the point in the field where they're going to have to make decisions whether they're going to go for it or kick a field goal. Field goals are going to be important.
They're very important
every week, but I feel against Baltimore, you need to take those points whenever you can get them. Unless it's just, I don't know. You've got Joe Burrow too, so I'm always like, go for it.
Well, I would say the Ravens, before we thought their special teams was indestructible. I mean, obviously John Harbaugh, he cut his chops through the special teams, making a name. So he's always been a big proponent. And, he's always focused a lot on the special teams. Tucker has not looked right at all this year. Missed a couple of chippies. And my feelings about Tucker. He's probably one of the top 5 people that I mostly dislike in the NFL. I just don't like the way he operates. And I'd love to wipe that smirk off his face today.
Yeah. Is he at the top?
He's up there.
Okay. All right.
I don't like him. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like him at all. So that being said, how do you see this playing out? What's your scope?
Are we prediction time?
I think we are.
Okay. Well, I am going to go.
Hey, give me a prediction and tell me maybe 1 or 2 players of the game.
Okay. So I'm going to go 24. I'm going to go 27-24 Bengals. I think T. Higgins actually makes a big catch. Joe launches one to him. He makes a big catch to ice the game.
Okay. Players.
And then on the defensive side, Man, I'm going to say Cam Taylor-Britt recovers and makes a big play.
Okay. All right. Well, I am going to go 31-30 Bengals in an absolute thriller with our boy Money Mac living up to his rookie, year and, hitting a big 55 yarder to win that game.
Okay.
Going to be a nip and tuck game. I think it's going to get down to who blinks first.
Mm-hmm.
Generally these kind of games play out that way. I think the crowd's going to be full throttle.
Yeah.
I think Bengals defense makes just enough stop for this and holds them to some field goals at some important points in the contest. And I think Joey B is locked in. I think he cashes in on some of those drives where they were getting stopped for field goals. I think today's the day. On 4 of those drives, he cashes in on a field goal or on a touchdown. I like your call on the T. Higgins. I think they're going to make a concerted effort again to pay some extra attention to Chase. And I think Joe peppers the ball around. I think it's going to be Joe's game. I think this is going to put the league back on notice. Last year it was that 49ers game. This year I think it's the Ravens game. Okay. And we're going to get El Presidente over in Barstool Sports putting $1 billion on the Bengals to win it all after today.
Okay, I like it. It. And it's going to be a hot one in the jungle. I think that's going to be like 85 degrees.
I love it. I love it.
Why isn't the R&R down there?
We will turn heat. I know you do.
I definitely do. Very sensitive to the heat.
But absolutely, guys, I'm excited for today's game. Expecting a big time crowd noise to an all-time level. Hopefully, we create a couple of false starts. Anything that we can help out that defense, I'm all for it.
Yeah, Zach Taylor needs to have a big game. This is a big game for him.
It is. I mean, there's some whispers like, is he the guy? Because I feel like we have the talent. But again, the offense is, we'll see. Today is a big game for a lot of people.
It's kind of crazy that not until the 5th game of the year did we get our first divisional game.
That is odd. But I think it's pretty much, is that not the case for all of our division opponents or our division people in our division? I don't know. I don't think anybody's played each other, have they?
No, it's just weird because I think last year we started in Cleveland and then I think Pittsburgh was pretty early. So it's weird.
Yeah, I like it though.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's the meaningful games. Let's get those down the stretch. So,
I agree.
Thank God, because we sure didn't look the part early.
Dicey, very dicey.
But hey, we will we'll circle back around next week after this big Bengals win. See if the R&R can bring the Bengals to 3-0 after this week.
I like it. Who day?
Enjoy the game, buddy.
You too.